advance into your age, more you will be having, the complications, commitments, especially for the family, for yourself. So I feel that that's not the right time, especially once you hit about 40 and above age, to take a lot of risk. So your risk aversion you will decrease. So especially for this, the pattern what we need to follow, and a lot of changes are happening because of the change in the mindset of these generations, right? The millennials, the Gen Z, they don't think about spending the money. I think 10 times, if I am going somewhere to see the flight, which is the economical one, that economy class, my son doesn't think even. If you need to book a ticket, he will right away book a ticket and tell me, Papa, your ticket is booked and this is the flight and you go this. And you stay in the 5-star hotels. I tell him, why are you, booking the ticket in the five? He said, Papa, enjoy the luxury. Everything is available for us. They don't at all even think for spending the money. So what you said is absolutely right. The patterns are changing. Now the habits are changing. Looking into all this change habit, share something about now funneling down to the insurance. We have realized that a lot of change after the COVID, people and the entire population have realized how important is health insurance, especially. So you do a lot of work with for the agents, especially for the insurance agents. Share some lights on this, how important is insurance. And I feel still India is not completely, we have not understood insurance properly. Still, a lot more things to rediscover. Yeah.
So Pankaj, all of us have seen Dahi Handi. Now Dahi Handi is a pattern and formation where children will layer up, and then there is one child who will reach that handi, and that's the win, right? वहीं से हमको मक्खन मिलता है. Now imagine that the Dahi Handi is inverted, where one child is at the base and there are 10 over him, then there are 15 over him, then there are 20 over him, and then there are 25 over him. So do you think this child at the bottom will be able to survive?
जान निकल जाएगी वो, तो he won't be able to even, what you said is right. Yeah.
So ये inverted pattern हो गया. Actually the pattern has to be base strong, right? Now in our financial terms, in technically अगर मैं बोलूँ तो financial pyramid भी वही बोलता है कि when your base is very strong, then your finances are very strong. So it says that your base has to be strong, and that base is your emergency provisions. Then comes your regular income, then comes your capital appreciation, which is your long-term return giving products. Now for long-term return giving products, I have to start very, very early. The earlier the better, because of the compounding factors that we all know. Then comes your, but I have to start small and keep on consistently doing it. So that is where consistency is the key. For emergency provisions, I have to keep on increasing it as my lifestyle increases. Now, if this basic is understood, we will not compare insurance to investment. That will solve 90% of this problem, because somehow we feel that ये पैसा policy में डालूं, इससे अच्छा ये पैसा अगर मैं investment में डालूं तो I will get a better amount. But somewhere what we are doing is the emergency provision is not there, and then when an emergency comes, if God forbid it has come, now we will have to wash out all the kind of appreciation factors that we have built in all these years. So a person, like you said rightly, who is 40, 45, now this risk appetite is also going low, and there is an emergency. So all the mehnat of the ideal 15, 20 years goes for a complete toss. And that's why the base is always insurance. Now, as you rightly said, people have not understood insurance correctly, because it is never, somewhere or the other, the conversation gap still is very, very huge with insurance company, advisor and the end user. So what happens is, people feel that insurance, matlab something happens, then only I'll benefit from it. So let me give you a small example, because I work a lot in the health insurance advisor education space. Most of us, we would feel, even I used to feel this earlier till I didn't know these concepts. most of us feel that, first time when we have to buy a mediclaim, we might buy it because somebody fell ill in the family and we realized the importance of it, or we saw somebody, or during COVID there was a complete demand for health insurance because people were seeing the uncertainty. So something goes wrong, or you are just starting your job or getting married, getting into responsible phase, so you buy insurance. So first time to premium भरना इतना मुश्किल नहीं होता है because it's all right, you have a purpose to it. Now second year when it has to be renewed, that is where you start thinking logically that last year the amount got wasted because I did not fall ill at all. Now you are thinking whether I should really put this money, or I should invest it, or I should spend it on my lifestyle instead, because there is no pleasure, there is no incentive I get. But actually in an insurance policy there is something called as a no claim bonus. Now this is where we don't even check this factor in our policy because nothing gets credited in my account. So it's an accumulation that happens. Now in fact, if you see largely today's new generation policies and new companies which are coming up, if you closely see, they are offering 50-60% of your sum insured every year as a no claim bonus. अब अगर इतना बड़ा no claim bonus आ रहा है, so the concept is that if your sum insured gets washed off, you don't have any top up or anything ideally, so then that no claim bonus will be used because आपका sum insured तो exhaust हो गया treatment के वक्त, so now that no claim bonus will be utilized. So what you are doing ideally is आप insurance को भी inflation adjusted कर रहे हो because your no claim bonus is accumulating all these years. So rather than thinking I better wait till 45-50 then start my insurance, in fact the real way to do it is start earlier, build up that claim bonus, no claim bonus, so that you are actually getting a nice amount of claim in case God forbid you get into a treatment mode. So these are small nitty-gritties. There are so many endless. I mean, I think one episode is not enough, or a lifetime is not enough to understand. There are so many concepts like this. So if we start understanding these nuances, we will be able to identify health insurance in a much different perspective. We will be able to set that base of the pyramid very strongly. And for that, I felt that there is to share with you, there is no independent education entity in health insurance space from a professionalism perspective. So there is product training, sales training, which happens obviously as a business model part, but there is nothing in the space of professionalism or education or degree for health insurance. And that's where I used to feel a lot in last 5-6 years out of my all these experiences that अगर घर में एक लग्जरी कार नहीं होगा तो शायद चल जाएगा, बट एक लग्जूरियस सम इंश्योर्ड का इंश्योरेंस नहीं होगा तो नहीं चलेगा. So that's where I decided to educate the advisors, and through the family financial education anyway, the masses are also getting educated in the whole course.
Wonderful. So I remember, पुराना time जो, if I remember, my old time of insurance, थोड़ा डरा डरा के बेचते थे. सर कुछ हो गया आपको तो फैमिली का क्या होगा, आपके बच्चों का क्या होगा, ये करते थे. Because it's still bit difficult to make them understand, to realize the importance of insurance, and how we all have seen, we all have experienced because of the COVID, so much things happened. And very good, what you said is absolutely right कि एक अच्छा sum assured होना बहुत जरूरी है. Now coming to the various type of insurance, endowment policy है, term insurance है. What you said, this bonus, is this available only for this health insurance, or it is available on all the kind of the products?
Okay, so if I clarify, as I said, insurance is not an investment, so there is nothing like returns that you get on insurance. If I talk of life insurance, once the policy duration is over, and if the policyholder survives, the policyholder gets something called as a survival benefit. So in insurance terminology, it is called a survival benefit because you survived the whole term. So what happens is there is nothing like returns and maturity, but how does that amount come? So that survival benefit amount comes because every year, right from the day you buy a life insurance policy, a bonus is added to your policy amount, as in the sum assured. So what happens is that let's say I buy a 20 lakhs policy today. So what will happen is that particular plan or scheme under which that insurance is taken, the company would have declared a bonus per 1,000. So let's say it is 50 per 1,000. So अब मेरा policy 20 lakhs का है. So multiplying that, my bonus will be calculated and it will keep on accumulating. That's why on death, the nominee will also get the sum assured of the policy that I have taken, plus whatever accumulated bonus have happened in all these years. And if I survive the whole duration of the policy, then I will get the whole accumulated bonus plus some loyalty additions and all that has been done because all the years I've paid the premiums. So that's how that life insurance gives me money, which is more than what I have put. So the logic is not earning returns, the logic is the survival benefit out of it. In health insurance, it is called a no claim bonus, because the logic is that you paid to the health insurance company in advance without knowing whether we'll fall ill or not. We didn't know, we just paid to the company. Now the company's money is also saved, because if I've paid a 20,000 premium and the company has given me 10-15 lakhs of insurance, suppose if somebody falls ill, then the company has to pay that 10-15 lakhs against the 20,000 of premium. So we saved that money of the company, and as an incentive to us, they are giving us a no claim bonus, which will help us in future in case there is a hospitalization or there is a critical illness or whatever. The company will use up that bonus to give us the claims. So these are kind of bonuses that are added, and bonus is a very insurance specific term. So in other investments, we will say compounding, we will say appreciation, we'll say returns, interest, dividend, everything. But bonus is a very insurance specific concept. So while you asked types of insurance, let me again give a small example here. Suppose if I am, for a calculation ease purpose, I am contributing 10,000 rupees to my family every month.
Yeah.
Now, if I contribute 10,000 a month, that means every year I am giving 1,20,000 to my family. Now, I'm not saying my expenses, from my intellect, my salary or my business income, I am contributing 10,000 rupees towards family expenses and all that. Now 1,20,000 a year, and if I'm going to work for another 30 years, it will be around 36 lakh rupees. Now if something goes wrong and I don't survive today, so my family will have an emotional trauma, but my family will have a financial trauma to the extent of those 36 lakh rupees. And this is only 10,000 as of today. Based on my income and lifestyle patterns, I'm going to increase it. So if I see 30 years, that is going to be like 3.5 crores or more than that as well. So that amount is my human life value. So जब हम गाड़ी का इंश्योरेंस कराते हैं तो BMW and Alto का इंश्योरेंस अलग अलग होगा, because it's based on the car value. But our insurance, unfortunately, is always taken on the basis of our premium budgets. And that's where the whole mistake happens in the world of insurance. So I need to calculate my human life value first, reverse calculate and see that if something goes wrong, then what? And if I survive, then what? So there are two types here. One is a term insurance, one is an endowment insurance. And this I am talking of life insurance. Now, when I say term insurance, there is nothing like bonus and additions and survival and nothing. It's a pure death risk cover. So if I have a very huge home loan to pay and I feel that, if I am not there, who will pay those EMIs or who will pay off that loan? So I will buy a term insurance to back up that risk. Or I will buy a term insurance either, as a smart inheritance to my next generation of paying small premiums and, getting something if I really don't survive in that duration. Or I will use term insurance as a part of, a survival mode for my family. So term insurance is a product where only my nominee can get a benefit, that too only on my death. Endowment insurance is because early death का provision तो कर दिया term policy ने, but long life का क्या? So if I go up to 70, 75, 80 and out of passion maybe I'm still working, but then I don't have the courage to fund my family in that age. I really want to live my life then. So then what will happen? So for a longer life, there are endowment plans. And like we spoke about changing times, all these plans are now revamping, changing. So now those 4 crore मिलेगा 5 crore मिलेगा को attraction कम मिलता है. But if I say that after a certain age, lifelong up to the age of 100, whatever, up to certain age, if I'm going to get a disciplined passive income, then that's a smarter way of life insurance today. If I go to health insurance, I've already explained some stuff, but something to highlight is that there is a regular mediclaim which we all buy, either from having a company mediclaim or having a personal mediclaim. That regular mediclaim is something we understand. But there is a critical illness mediclaim, there is an accidental policy, there is a senior citizen specific policy, there is a maternity cover. All these kinds of plans also I need to assess while building my insurance portfolio. So जैसे हम shares में portfolio बनाते हैं, insurance में भी portfolio चाहिए. I cannot say that I have a 10 lakh policy means I have won the world. अभी मुझे कुछ tension नहीं है. Because maybe that coverage is not possible, or to highlight 2-3 things, your insurance policy now needs to have a very global or worldwide kind of coverage, because we all have become very mobile, traveling across countries, cities. Now cities तो फिर भी ठीक है, but countries में travel किया और अगर वो mediclaim नहीं काम किया तो then what is the use of it? Or else now hospitals are getting really revamped and getting into very modern spaces with new surgeries and all. So are these modern surgeries covered, or are these room rents really covered fully? So maybe I have a capping saying that I'll get a single room only, but then when a patient is in the hospital, the dependent will say best wala do. They will not think about anything else. So best wala, and then the single room which is allotted, that will have a gap. So your out of pocket in spite of having mediclaim will increase. So there are so many small nitty-gritties which are to be thought about. In vehicle insurance, we need to check that it's mandatory, so all of us have it. But then in a vehicle insurance, if there is a third-party insurance or a comprehensive insurance, what type of it is, what will happen if there is an accident, if there is a damage, if there is a theft. So what are the coverages has to be always seen. And lastly, I would like to say that for all this, the biggest problem is that we read the policy only when we claim the policy. So I know it's complicated, I know it's lengthy, it's across, around 40,000 words or so of a policy. But then at least, when we have bought the policy, there is a 15-day lookup period that we have, which every insurance company gives.
Yeah.
So in 15 days, if we understand that this policy is not as per my expectation or not as per what I was promised, I can give the policy and refund my premium straight away. So it's really required that I get 15 days to read my policy, and rather than sitting in a hospital and reading that policy ki milega ki nahi milega, it's easier that every day I spend half an hour when I buy the policy and read it out in 15 days.
Very small, little thing, but very much important. Free lookup, this 15 days we all know, but we do not know that what is the use of this 15 days. You very rightly, highlighted. You can go piece by piece, few lines, day by day, you can understand the policy. Very interesting and wonderful thoughts you have shared. And I feel that this will be, very much required for other people. So I would say, all our audience, please go through the channel of Priyanka. Also have, Laxmi GYAAN channel on YouTube, and learn more about these small things. Will be very helpful for you. We do not know what may happen to, to you or maybe any one of us, right? So that's why, when something happens, then we realize, oh my God, we would have taken something. We missed the taking, this much of sum assured or something. So this is a serious thing, I would say. So everyone need to be serious about this, and put some money always, like this you shared very rightly, like you manage your portfolio for the money, stock and gold and other assets. Insurance is also needs to be looked from that perspective of managing the portfolio. This is something, very new perspective I have learned, especially from you. Share something, couple of things, a lot of, the insurance agent will going to understand and learn from this podcast. So what do you think that what should be the best few qualities of insurance salespeople, those who are actually selling the insurance? Yeah.
So first is when I say I want to sell. So if I want to sell a product, I need to first understand the product, and I need to understand it from a user perspective. So that's a typical small thing that in sales all of us have learned in our own ways. Now let's say healthcare, health insurance, everything is in one industry. Now if there is a pharma company, so how a medical rep goes with a visual aid, shows it to the doctor and convinces him or her to get a prescription. Now when that happens, now this person is explaining all sorts of technicalities of that dosage, but will the doctor use the same thought process when a patient is sitting there? I mean, I think on a lighter side, the patient will get a heart attack listening to all the kinds of contents of a medicine. So a doctor will explain it in a very, very different way on how the patient will understand it. So same ways, the conversation of the same capsule changes between a MR and a doctor to a patient, or a chemist to a patient and an MR to a chemist. So same ways, the same circle goes with health insurance. So an advisor has to first understand the nitty-gritties of the product from a technical perspective, that these are the features, like I said, room rent capping, or the no claim bonus, or the organ donation coverage, or the worldwide coverage, and all these kind of benefits and exclusions and inclusions that a policy has. So if an advisor has himself or herself never read an insurance policy, then the explanation of the policy will be totally very, very shallow, and it will be the tip of the iceberg. Now mostly the insurance penetration is low because for people and for an advisor, it only works around premium and sum insured and kitna dala kitna milega. But when insurance is not an investment, and if I think from that purview, I'm going wrong way itself. So an advisor has to understand the application of that product in that family. Now you mentioned fear very interestingly, that insurance तो डरा डरा के ही बेचा जाता था, because that time लोगों को hospital जाने से भी लोग डरते थे. Yeah, even they used to still today we have senior citizens in the family who will say that मेरे पास लौकी है, काढ़ा पी लेंगे, वो हल्दी वल्दी यूज कर लेंगे, and we don't want to go to a doctor because we would avoid injections and operations and all. So that was very rampant 15-20 years back, and that's why there was that fear element added, because there was no other way to make sure people buy insurance. Now today a child of 5 years, 10 years doesn't fear speaking in front of parents also. So that's how the openness has developed. It's not a generation problem, it's actually the openness, because they are exposed to so many things. Now with that exposure, an advisor going to a family and giving this shallow information will be a complete mismatch. Another thing that a good advisor has to do is the advisor has to understand that this is not an agency sales business. This is an actual business. So today if I go to a shop and I want to just buy apparel or outfit for myself, so the person is pushing me, nahi bhabhi ji ye le lo, nahi ye le lo, nahi are ek saadi kyun, aap 5 saadi lo. Somewhere in today's times I just get suffocated in this environment, I feel, and everybody gets that suffocation. I don't want to buy from this person. Same ways, if I'm pushed an insurance policy, then I am not going to feel comfortable to buy it. Instead, if the advisor has a very professional approach to it, where the advisor is educating me from not a sales perspective, but from an education perspective, with all these nitty-gritties, all these real hard-hitting points that ये होना चाहिए policy में जो नहीं है. So then उसका premium सस्ता है तो तुम्हारा policy क्यों लो? That question will be eliminated totally, and that will make it very easy for them. Plus, whenever I educate advisors, there are two things which I always say. One is that your job is not only selling the policy and disappearing till the renewal comes. Your job is that if the policy reading is so difficult for people, either 15 days आप उनको handhold करो so that वो policy पढ़ सके. If you are very confident that they've understood the plan and there is no ambiguity of free look period का problem नहीं है, तो हर महीने आप उनके साथ एक Zoom call करो, so that an advisor is in touch with the client also understands, the family of the client knows this advisor, because that is most important. If there is an emergency with the decision maker, then the family doesn't even know whom to contact. So being in touch is something which is basic professional etiquette. And the last thing is that if you're doing all this, now there is a situation, observe everywhere. You will find finance and insurance in everything. So a fire extinguisher can become a beautiful analogy to explain health insurance. A piggy bank can become a beautiful, analogy to explain a small child about what is health insurance. So everywhere around, if you see and observe, and if you can just breathe health insurance, breathe family finance, you can actually be a very, very sparkling element of a professional in their lives.
Wonderful, Priyanka. Very, this is how the specialist approaches. And when it comes to selling insurance, either you sell anything, before you sell anything, do you understand the pain points of your customer? What are the sufferings they are having, they may face in the future? If you understand, are you able to correlate this pain area with the product as a solution to your customer, and show them the big picture possibly, and that's where the role of advisor really comes. And I know many advisors, they don't only come to sell the policy. They are actually advisor. They come to their all the family functions. They are there with their customers. They are with their family. Actually, they are just like a family members. So many, I know many, old advisors are there now. They are getting older and retired also, but still they are in touch with their all the family members. So it's a more of relationship building for a long term with the family. And now another advantage and the benefit is, when you look from this perspective, you will be going to have recurring more business from the same customer. One happy customer can yield you so many, new customers. And there, I remember we were doing this prospecting P20, P200, something of that sort. We are asking our agents to, go and take more references from this one customer whom you have sold the policy. Wonderful, Priyanka. It was really a very nice conversation with you. I would say, all the people, those who are working in the finance or the education, this insurance sector, they must see this kind of conversation. And very simply, you articulated the very complex matter, the topics, especially on this podcast. Thank you so much. Possibly, we may connect one more time in the future sometimes, whenever the opportunity comes. And I would request, all the audience, please go through this Laxmi GYAAN channel, YouTube channel. She is there on Instagram also. Right, get associated, and all the agents or the insurance professional can learn so many things from you. Thank you so much. Any final message you would like to communicate to our audience?
Okay, so there are two things that my father has taught me all my life, and I love to highlight them. One is that he always said that earning money is easy, spending money is even easier, but the whole art lies in managing your money. So that, that is the essence of Laxmi GYAAN. And so far, all the podcasts, the daily audio series, or the book that I have authored, or the financial consulting that I do, or I have also designed something called as a finance journal now, which is which is available in English, Hindi, Marathi, Gujarati, all sorts of languages. So that's a journal, that's a friend to anybody who wants to start managing finances. So all of this has been centered around this one single thought that I've learned all my life. And the second thing that he always used to say is that return on the money से भी ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है return of the money. So all of us feel that return ज़्यादा चाहिए तो सब कुछ long term ही करना पड़ेगा. But then, as I said earlier, all the phases of your life demand money from you. And whenever that money is required, if it doesn't come to you at that point of time, then there is, you yourself feel that why am I paying so much, or why मैं इतना मेहनत क्यों कर रहा हूँ, why all this thing is happening. So somewhere we get into that depressed form of money, and then we feel that yes, money is materialistic, but सबसे बड़ा रुपया, like a friend has said, that will only really come properly when return of the money gets equal respect as return on the money.
बाप बड़ा ना भैया सबसे बड़ा रुपये. So many songs, हमारे यहाँ film industry में famous है.
True.
Thank you very much. Very interesting, talking with you, and really enjoyed the conversation, Priyanka.
Absolutely.
And thank you so much. Bye bye.